most valuable
As I said
punter
before, I like to see professional
MVP, because I think that would go to Rampage.
Rampage Poker just revealed he is on a jaw-dropping $1 million downswing. Over this past weekend, he seems to have put the final nail in the coffin after once again playing and losing at super high stakes. This was his first time back on Hustler Casino Live since losing over $500,000 slightly over a month ago now. During his time away, he did play on one other live streamed game at Bally's where he got a solid $161,000 win under his belt. That said, it certainly was not the boost of confidence you might have thought it was. In this video, we will dive deep into his most recent hands and his candid reactions to the crushing losses and recent downswing. First of all, his biggest mistake might just be playing hands pre-flop that he knows he should not. He has a 44% VPIP in his last 8 appearances on stream since November of 2023. This is where he is down over $700,000 alone, and that isn't even counting the off-stream hands, which is what he is likely counting towards the $1 million downswing. The hands on this stream are no exception. About 2 hours in, he is the under the gun straddle and completes for $200. I get it's a stream game, but just why? Boredom maybe? He proceeds to bluff the river as the 4th diamond comes and Pepe calls with a small flush.
Snap call.
No flush? No. Flush.
$9,000 down the drain. Next, Rampage has a legit hand, pocket tens versus Pepe's ace queen. He reasonably check calls 2 streets versus Pepe and is bailed out on the river as we see 4 to a straight.
Bink. Rampage. Gets there. Wow. You gotta bet this. You gotta bet it when you hit it. No. Rampage. Of course he's gonna check back. Oh, wow. What? Come on, Rampage. Oh, and he knows it too. He knows it too. I think in his mind he's thinking that, you know, Pepe might just be bluffing. It might just try to bluff it, and that's the only way to get money in there. But it's just a difficult board to bluff on. You got to make him make a tough call. You throw in 20,000 there, that is going to get under Pepe's skin.
He wins about 25k. Next, Rampage has another legit hand. Ace jack off, and he 3-bets pre versus this loose player Greg.
Dominated by Rampage. That looks good.
Call.
Just a call.
Greg ends up turning a flush versus Rampage's top pair that he wisely checks back.
Nice check back from Rampage.
We get to a river and Greg bets big.
Just really nice job minimizing the losses, but he calls.
Flush.
Rampage calls, which I think is completely fine as he is pretty high up in his range. Minus about 14k for him in this cooler. Rampage raises once again with a legit hand, King 9 suited. He gets several calls, including from our friend Greg here with 7-5 suited. Rampage flops top pair and action checks around. On the turn, he starts betting. $3,000 into 5,500. Charles with a pair of 8s calls and Greg with a gut shot also calls. The river of course completes Greg's straight and he leads big for about 3/4 pot. Rampage understandably calls with top pair and is down another $12,000.
And Greg is back. Schlubbed.
That was some schlubby shit.
Some schlubby ass shit.
Schlubby
Greg.
shit right there.
Schlubby, schlub, schlub.
Only gut shot. Charles, only gut shot.
If Charles folds, I fold.
Get schlubbed.
It's a good hand. Like, get up and throw something. I should break something. I should break the door.
I should start betting bigger on the river against you. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, he snapped it off. You know you could have got more when he calls in less than 5 seconds.
Next up, maybe Rampage is just fuming on the inside after that last hand. He puts the straddle on under the gun for $200. The button raises to $500 and Rampage completes with Queen 6 suited. Fine. He leads, however, about half pot when he flops a gut shot. Not too insane, but not advised in a multi-way pot. He gets called from everyone who has a small piece of the board. The turn comes a 4 of spades and he does not slow down, betting $4,000 into $7,000. Greg is back once again, sticking in there with his world famous gut shot and now bottom pair. He is not going anywhere. The river is amazing for Greg. Another 4. He now has trips.
On.
Wow.
All in, Jesus.
Rampage's only move at this point is to put Greg all in for about $20,000 or 2x pot. I guess Greg has turned over a new leaf or something as he does not snap call.
I actually have a really tough spot right here.
Greg?
He actually goes deep into the tank, which I am personally super surprised by.
I need a minute, guys. I'm so sorry.
Just is sitting here with queen high.
This is such a weird hand right now. I guess straight.
That is essentially the ultimate river.
I thought he might even be slow rolling at one point, but I suppose when recreational players are at risk for their entire stack, especially versus such a large jam, they just like to take their time.
Tough one.
No, really not. After an hour, Greg finally puts his money in and Rampage says this.
Straight.
Yeah, I knew it.
Take your call.
Wait,
No,
what?
no straight. Trips. What straight?
No straight.
No straight, he's
I thought you were
kidding.
serious.
Ugh.
I don't like it when people do that in big pots, by the way. I really don't like that. What if I muck my hand?
I showed it.
He would have given you the pot. Don't worry.
Like, I'm just saying.
He would have given you the pot. Don't worry.
Schlub, hit the
I just
vape.
don't like it when people
Touchdown.
do that in big pots.
Kind of interesting. I have done this myself before being sarcastic when I have one of the cards that could make a straight and I'm going for a huge bluff like Rampage does here. But yeah, maybe it isn't the best or nicest practice like Greg says. But on the other hand, I would also be pretty annoyed to see Greg tank for so long with a 4 here. Rampage loses about $25,000 from a hand he did not have to play this way.
I don't care. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. I
Congratulations
really don't
on
like
winning
it
the
when
pot,
people
Greg.
do it in big pots.
Congratulations on winning.
You think? I saw his hand. Snap call.
Yeah, of course.
Rampage being super cool about it.
hope so.
He's just playing around. Schlub gets the vape in his mouth.
Double the pot!
Hey, watch the vape.
Just got oh my god! The cartridge is on the ground now. Come on, dude.
I'll get a new cartridge. Celebrate that victory.
Yeah, take a fat rip.
How many
Celebrate.
cartridges did you buy with that pot?
Schlubby.
What?
How many cartridges can you buy with that pot?
Fuck yourself, dude. Seriously, dude? It's like a fucking...
And Greg,
double the pot.
the
I
Schlub
can't think
Master,
about it.
ends up 1,500.
Think about it.
I'm sorry that I took so
Dude,
long.
how is
I don't give a shit.
Cumulative Winnings, of course, brought to you by Odds Jam. Visit oddsjam.com.
I mean, I get yelled at for
Use code
giving him
HCL50, 50% off.
Get my
Matter
dick cut off.
like that.
You get your dick cut off. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. I've been getting my dick cut off the whole game. It's so small right now, it's like retreated into itself.
You got an innie. How many edibles did Nick Airball take? That's what I want to know.
Good hit. Good hit. Good hit.
At this point, he is down over $50,000 and spiraling out of control into defeat. He picks up King 10 off in the hijack straddle, which, you know, he doesn't have to straddle, and flops an open-ended straight draw. Action checks around on the flop, and the turn actually gives him the best hand versus Charles and Mike X. Now Charles has a straight. Charles bets his flush and straight draw and Rampage calls. The river is brutal, the king of hearts. With about $19,000 in the pot, Charles bets relatively small, $5,000. I think Rampage could get away. He loses to a lot, and is Charles ever really bluffing here? Probably not. That said, Rampage ends up paying him off and losing about $13,000.
5-1. So he makes the call.
Max value, Charles.
Max value. I was pretty maxy.
You got max.
Professional violence.
In the final hand of the night, Rampage truly lights money on fire. First of all, he straddles for $2,000 under the gun +1. That is quite the straddle and not a winning strategy to begin with, as he ends up checking his option with 6 deuce off after Mike X limps King 10 suited. Mike flops top pair and Rampage flops bottom pair. Mike bets and Rampage calls. The turn is the 7 of hearts. Mike, with a very strong hand, top pair, and a flush draw now, ends up checking back. The river is the 5 of hearts, increasing Mike's already far superior hand from top pair to the second nut flush. Rampage checks and Mike bets on the bigger side. Rampage knows he cannot win with bottom pair here, so he elects to check raise to $20,000.
That's like Nick. Nick's a full
Professional.
Oh my gosh, Ramp. I looked
damn
away
it.
for a moment and Rampage is punting
Oh my
again.
Fuck my life.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen this guy.
Oh my god.
Full-time recreational player.
So we just voted for the MVP. We're going to call that most valuable player. But should we do a second vote for most valuable
As I said
punter
before, I like to see professional
MVP? Because I think that would go to Rampage.
Mike makes the quick call and Rampage loses about $25,000. We get the doom zoom and see he is all smiles on the outside, but in reality he feels the pain, finishing the stream down over $80,000. Pretty much all coming from the last couple hours.
I think it would be a unanimous vote. He has certainly had some bombs tonight.
You got off
I'm
cheap.
over it.
You got off cheap. Like, when I was having this
60-yard
experience, I
plus
won, like,
bombs
$700,000.
out of nowhere.
Take it back. Take
He's
it back.
punting on second down. Like a dude,
Me? Oh, that's true. I do.
you can still go for the first. You don't have to punt yet.
Before going into the night, Rampage was not feeling very confident to say the least, tweeting, quote, "Who's the lucky one to receive my $500,000 this time? Comment below." Obviously a joke and a play on how much he lost at HCL last time, but there is truth in jokes, right? Joey Ingram gave a better outlook to have, replying with a more glass half full type attitude, quote, "A better question is, whose $500,000 are you taking?" Upon losing over $80,000 and knowingly not playing well, Rampage had this to say: "Losing respect. Sitting on the ground staring at the wall/ceiling of my bedroom in Southern California. Minus $84,000 today on the Hustler stream. I'm amidst a $1 million quote downswing in poker over the last several months. By far the longest I've had a losing streak for, and by far the most amount of dollars I've lost. Yet both are nothing special. The duration and dollar amount. See, I've been playing a dangerous game, playing way above my bankroll and infrequently in volume. Now both have reared its ugly head at the same time and I'm paying the price. The real reason I put quote downswing in quotes isn't because of the lack of volume played nor high dollar amount. It's self-inflicted. Each and every single one of my biggest loss seems to be caused by a sprinkle of unfavorable card distribution mixed with a heavy dosage of self-destructive tendencies. It appears in tilt, gambling too hard, pushing too much action, etc. Rampage goes on to talk about a beautiful torching of money and how he watched himself uncontrollably ignite $50,000 on fire in a series of poorly played, poorly executed poker hands that he had no rhyme or reason to play, other than to feel something, which is the reason for his anger and disgust. He says on the sad and quiet drive home, he can't help but wonder, why? What in the actual entire fuck is wrong with him? Maybe he's lost all respect for money and poker. He has documented his journey in the past 5 years with poker. He has done nothing but try to stretch the limits of himself and boundaries within the game. Whether it's through tournaments or high stakes cash, he has tried to climb higher and higher in the challenge. For the last 2 years, his quote normal was shot taking the biggest cash game or tournament buy-in. Now that dopamine rush and thrill-seeking nature is a never-ending beast, always quenching for the next quote shot or opportunity to put 50 to 100% of his net worth on the table. And finally then the game will feel like it'll matter until it's over and he starts again. He has lost the respect for the game and money throughout his journey. The stakes can be increased until infinity. The high of bluffing for $1 million can never be attained again unless it's a bluff for $2 million. This doesn't seem sustainable, but so isn't his downswing via lack of self-control or discipline. And here he is, still sitting on his floor, feeling like he is a rock at bottom again. He finishes with being 100% transparent and vulnerable. He says he certainly has a lot more soul-searching and mindset problems to dig through, but this is as far as he's gotten on his 25-minute drive home after the losing session. So with that, it seems Rampage is pretty self-aware with where he is at. It does take a lot of guts to share how he is truly feeling instead of just going silent. This wasn't even that large of a loss given the stakes he has been playing, but it is clear his emotions go beyond this single stream and they have reached a tipping point. It is pretty funny how things can change. Now Rampage is the loose cannon type, while Nick Airball, if you even noticed he was in the game, is starting to actually play on the tighter and more solid side. We will see if it stays true all year, but they have interestingly enough kind of traded places. Many people will have their opinions on Rampage, but I will say he has obviously worked pretty hard to get to where he is at. This video or the other is meant in no way to disrespect or paint him in a negative light. I really just like to report on what is going on in poker, and he has of course become one of the biggest names. To even be able to be on a $1 million downswing is something many, including myself, dream of. Now that may sound crazy to the people that don't understand poker, but it basically means you have a lot of money to even lose 1 million. Rampage gets tons of hate when he is down and tons of love when he is up. That is unfortunately just how it goes. Let me know in the comments if you think Rampage should dial it back or even take a break, or if you think he should just keep pushing forward like he jokes about in this meme.